And hello again from the workbench. Well, this was going to be a short show and tell video. It turned out to be an afternoon repair marathon to get it going properly. I mean, it was working okay, but it wasn't working as well as it should. And I didn't realise that everything in there was being fed wrong voltages until I actually got out the circuit and investigated further, but more on that shortly. I thought I'd describe the set first and give you a bit of a rundown on it. So it is another AC/DC set made by Philips. Its model is BZ269U and it's called the Philips New Yorker. In New Zealand we did a lot of badge engineering, hence the name Fleetwood on here. So I've got the Fleetwood logo with the Fleetwood badge, but essentially this is just a Philips. We had these came out as also under the same names, under the names of HMV. So Philips, Fleetwood, HMV. There was Singer, and there was also Sierra as well. The Sierra brand I've seen more on the black and white TVs and some of the larger high Z tabletop radios, the stereo ones, which they made also here as well. I've seen that Sierra brand, but the majority seem to be Philips and Fleetwood are the two ones that that basically were the most common. Now this, I'm guessing, is based on a European clone. I guess New Zealand copied a clone of some kind. I don't recall seeing one online or overseas yet, but no doubt I'll probably stumble across one eventually. If anybody's got a set that looks like this and it's European, yeah, please let me know in the comments. I'd be quite curious to see it. So, nice little compact set, Bakelite. So, and the cabinet's not broken or cracked, chipped or dented, but it does need a polish. It does need an actual polish again. Now, I've owned this for, probably owned this for nearly, I'd say possibly almost, coming on 15 to 18 years I've had this set now. And I actually went through and did some work on it back in 2003. Went through and changed all the old resistors and the horrible old tar capacitors in there and actually got it working quite well. But it never worked as well as what I thought it should have. More on that in a second. So, I will give you a look at the set's controls and under the chassis and what valves it has and everything in the back, and then I'll get on to what I did to it to make it go better. So, on the front here, fairly basic, straightforward setup. So we've got volume on off there, on off the volume control, 2-position tone control there, low and high, sort of works. But yeah, again, it would have been nice if they had an actual adjustable pot for the tone. Over here you've got your, to adjust the tuning, and then you've got, it's got a gram input on the back, so you just switch between gram or radio on that switch there. So here, I'll pull this back a bit, and this is the back cover. It's already off because I want to show you inside it. So here's the back cover here. So here's the model Fleetwood. Interesting to say, it's model Fleetwood 540. So there would have been, I do know that they did release Fleetwood circuits and HMV circuits. They were just essentially the same thing. And radio license badge there, and just all your usual typical looking Philips back. Really thick cardboard. Now normally a hole normally gets burnt in here because it's basically where the drop-in resistor is, but in this case no, this one actually appears to have actually survived actually quite well, which is nice. Right, so we'll spin around and show you what it's like in the back. Move a bit closer so I can, and yeah, so oh yeah, sorry, I'll just the tube line up. We have UY85, UL84, UBC81, UF89 and UCH81. A nicely laid out valve chart there. And in the back, I went through and tested all the valves back in 2003, and I actually wrote the date on some of them. So that kind of gave me some record of when I actually did last do any work on this thing. It's actually really clean inside, really tidy. From memory, it actually wasn't that dusty. So you've got yeah, that's the drop-in resistor there. More on that in a moment. And yeah, so you got your speaker, ferrite rod antenna, output transformer at the back there, tuning capacitor, and filter cap. I actually left that in because when they designed it, they actually thought outside the square. Put the filter cap away from the heat rather than in behind the rectifier getting baked by the resistor and the heat from the valve. So that filter cap still checks fine. I tested it again today. All the values are bang on and the ESR is well within specifications. So the cap stays in there. It's perfectly fine. There. And underneath. So all the resistors, most have been changed. You know, I'll just get find a little pointy thing that's not. So yeah, put all those nice reliable mustard Phillips caps in there. It originally had these where is it? Originally had those carbon comp resistors, and yeah, they're okay, but generally they've all gone high by now. So obviously replaced a few of them. Obviously the B plus droppers and things like that. Yeah, it had these horrible. That's just from the aerial earth to ground. That would left that one in there. But yeah, these things are horrible. As you guys who work on these radios know, these things are now leaky as heck. So yeah, main safety cap down in there. That's a filament. That's a mains input choke. That thing there. And yeah, that's your volume on off and tone and control. This volume control has got a like a loudness tap, at a 400k loudness tap about halfway up, and the carbon track or something's worn because the control does funny things. I'll demonstrate it to you when I have the set going. I've cleaned it as best I can, and nah, I just can't get it any better than what it is. So until I find another one, I'll just basically live with it for now. What else did I do to this? Yeah, just pretty much run of them all servicing. Nothing too strange or out of the ordinary. Nice and easy to get at everything. Nicely laid out. Nothing was too hard to get at to replace. Oh, and the pilot light's down there as well. So yeah, so which brings me to the drop-in resistor. That is a replacement one on there. The original, well, seen better days, but somebody had replaced the original with these. And they were the wrong value, both of them. It's basically, you've got 750 ohms from end to end with a 180 ohm tap. 120 ohm and about 1800 ohms. So the set was running, but it wasn't performing as well as it should. And I'll show you in the circuit. Like I said, it was going okay, but I personally thought it could have been going better. But at the time, I didn't have a circuit back in 2003, and I just did a basic measurement. Oh, all the voltages seem to be okay, so nah, that's fine. It's going, we'll just leave it as it is. But yeah, I'll just get the circuit and I'll show you what I found. Oh, incidentally too, the drop-in resistor came from this. This is basically one of my spare parts radios. If it looks familiar, I did an identical set to this a few months ago. If you go back through my old videos, you'll find a restoration series on one of these. Clearly not this one, because obvious reasons. The scotch is missing, no knobs, and yeah, it's probably lived in a very dusty environment for years. But yeah, actually there we go. Here's what one of these normally looks like. So here's all these lovely tar capacitors. I see someone's. Yeah, it looks like somebody has changed a few of the resistors already. Love the funky old spider web that's in there. Now and then to be pencil. Probably 1970s spiders probably lived in here. Yeah, so those awful things. But yeah, good source of spare parts. Even though the sets are slightly different, the circuit's similar, and luckily the drop-in resistor was pretty much the same value. And that drop-in resistor pretty much sat like that, sat horizontally and behind on that bracket. So, right, and here is the lovely service manual, or circuit, whatever you want to call it. It is the Philips New Yorker. It's just a general description on how to pull out of the cabinet, alignment of the receiver, all that sort of thing. 5-valve superheterodyne, main supply 200-250 volts, AC or DC, 45 watts. And yep, and you've got a nice. You've got all your IF transformers, oscillator calls and so forth, all the resistance readings. So if you suspect something's not quite right, you can go through and check all your coils and things. So that's nice and handy. And again, for Philips, quite an uncomplicated dial string arrangement. Most of them are bloody nightmarish. And over here, I've just got more general. I think, yeah, that's just generally aligning the set and replacing the, what do they call it? The gang drive cord. Something which something I actually when it comes to dial cords, I've managed to get away with them for quite some time, but it seems to be every second or third set I do up, especially customers ones, the dial cord breaks. So I'm forced to do them and learn about them, and getting slowly better. But I haven't done a Philips yet, so I try and avoid like the bloody plague. Right, and here is the circuit. Just a basic superhet receiver. Hang on, I'm not sure. I can't really see because of the sorry if the camera's going out of focus. I'm probably holding things too damn close, because my eyesight's not that great too. From back here it looks clear, but it actually might be out of focus. But yeah, so you've got all your component IDs down there, your valve pin, all your pin base designations and so forth. So yeah, so basically I'll go to the chart table, which is over here. These things never quite fold back the right way. You can fold them every which way possible. Hang on. Here we go. Right, the actual back of it. So yeah, we've got our valve layout and all our trimmer locators. Basically, which one to twiddle to do what, which one to twiddle to adjust it for maximum performance, and dial alignment and tracking and so forth. But this is a bit I want to focus on. So the set was running, and the audio was quite weak. So I thought, okay, I do know the UL84s. Some of them they seem to get a hard life and they fail. So I put in another UL84 on there, made no difference. So I started measuring voltages. The cathode voltage read about 3 volts. hang on, that's not right. So I put in the original valve, and it's no different. So I looked at the B plus, then I looked at the B plus rails, and they were all a bit high. I thought, that's not, I think it's not right here. Just happened to glance at the UL84, thought to myself, that's not really glowing as bright as it should be. So I measured the filament voltages. It wasn't 45, it was about 30 volts. I thought, hello. So I measured all of them, and they were all like 20 or 30% lower than what they should have been. And somebody had, and basically it was due to the actual, those resistor values that someone had replaced them were completely wrong. So, basically it wasn't getting enough filament voltage, so the valves weren't conducting enough to draw enough current to make the set work properly. So it comes off the mains, goes through there, drop a resistor. Yep. That feeds the anode of the U85, and then it goes down to there, goes through. It's got a couple of VDRs as well, and if the pilot light blows, goes up and circuit the VDR, takes the resistance so the filament chain doesn't get broken. But all the filament voltages are all wrong. So once I popped the correct one in there, all of a sudden all the voltages came up. We had about 10 volts on the cathode. All the voltages pretty much were right on. We're actually all good. All the voltages were all good, and on the chart they're all pretty much bang on. And funnily enough, the set actually now works better. Funny that. So yeah, if I'd had the circuit back in 2003, I would have probably realised something wasn't quite right back then. So yeah, I didn't intend to fix this today, but I'm quite glad I did, because at least now I know it's working better and running properly. So without further ado, let's hear it. And also, it warms up quicker too. It doesn't take like a minute and a half to 2 minutes to get up to full volume. It does it, it actually warms up a lot quicker, which is even better. About 26 watts at the moment. Now it's climbing as the valves start to conduct, and the static comes through. That's that horrible volume control. I'll get off. I'll find another station. I'll demonstrate what it does.
Fred, its children, much more than evidence perhaps suggests that it is Fred.
So,
going to go to school, even if schools were wide.
So it's okay down low, but the moment you turn it up,
I want to take care of them.
It goes all horrible, and then if you turn it up more, sorry, this might get a bit loud, but then all of a sudden it goes all bloody trebly.
And we do need an opportunity for those that do need to go to work to have a level.
Then the bass kind of kicks in. Actually, go to the tone low setting.
Or living with somebody who's vulnerable. I think they need to chip in like the rest of us. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I thought that was. Yeah, I got a text from someone.
So it's actually not as bad as it was after I've cleaned it. It's actually a lot better.
Very well and good for the
But
teachers and the FEE teachers to going.
But I normally have it about there anyway, so it's fine. I just live with it.
A lot of doctors, a lot of dry shelf stockers.
It's actually a really nice sounding radio, and I do like the look of this. I love these plastic sort of see-through slats. Sort of really sets it off. It's actually a very nice looking set. Very nice looking set. Yeah, so that. Yeah, so.
Yeah, fair enough. We appreciate the time. That is Shane Tapo and Kira McIver. Our huddle this evening. We've got some more Jerry Brownlee gold for you around at 7 to 6. News Talk ZB.
NetSpeed, internet broadband provider, know that staying connected is more than usual. You need to connect, learn and entertain, not to mention shop. The NetSpeed team are all New Zealand based and working from home to deliver all the services to all their customers. If you need support, contact them. If you're not connected...
Oh, what's happened there? Oh, check that. I had the chassis out, so maybe something's catching. Ugh. Please, I do not want the whole string to break. That sort of thing encourages the string to break. It's almost asking for it.
COVID-19 announcement. New Zealand is still at alert level 4. We don't move to alert level 3 until 11:59 p.m. on Monday, 27 April. Find out more at covid19.govt.nz.
It's the Ryan Bridge Drive Show.
It's actually quite a sensitive set too. It's picking up a lot of stations out of the area north. That'll be some power supply inside, some switch mode wall wart, or one of the many video game consoles we've got sitting inside on standby. We'll be doing something, creating that annoying dit noise. I think that's a religious station of some kind. Not quite sure what its call sign is.
Charity is now itself asking for charity.
So fair food, like other
options, it's catching
we
me
have to
too.
give a little to donate to COVID relief, so we can basically rescue this really good food that would go to waste from your food business and growers, and get it to these people in need, and continue to do it in a very timely.
Certainly puts out the volume, whereas before, up at that level, it would be really distorted, like wouldn't go that loud. It would run out of steam.
In 2012, it's also saved 2.3 million kilos of waste from going to landfill. Veronica Shell hopes the
I tell you what, I'm sitting here in the heat, just radiating. I can feel it. I feel it on underneath my chin.
Private tech
See a bit of heat that resistor gives off.
Duchess of Sussex and Meghan
Listen, Jerry Brownlee. So, Jerry Brownlee not finding the mute button was not the only bad thing that happened to him. Exactly what happened here, we're not sure.
Okay, look, one other thing. Can I just ask?
Something went wrong there, Jerry. You sounded like a... No, I'm not even going to say what I think you sounded like.
I don't know. I'm going to take a punt that what he was going to say was a demon. I'm just guessing. But apparently that, by the way, was so bad that it had a domino effect later on in the Select Committee for the Minister of Finance.
Mr. Chair, I'm just dealing with a small technical difficulty caused by Mr. Brown, not caused by, but during Mr. Brownlee's transformation.
We're going to take the news after that. Al Keating, CEO of Coffee Supreme, is going to be boss in lockdown. News Talk ZB.
That's interesting. They've got it up there too on a different frequency. Oh, that's Radio Sport. That's right. Actually, the actual sound quality is actually better up there. Interesting. But yeah, no, it does actually sound really nice. It's a nice set. It really is. It actually sounds even better now that it's working properly and all the voltages are correct. But curiosity now. I might just get one of these blooming thermo sort of probe thingies. I wonder how much heat that's actually given off. Oh yes. About 150 degrees is coming off that. Far out. Wouldn't want to touch that in a hurry, man. You'd definitely take some skin off your finger. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty warm. It's almost a small bloody room heater. I mean, the UA85 is about 83 degrees, UL84 is 87, UBC81 is about, it's about 42, UCH81 is about the same. Yeah, but yeah, that dropping resistor, wow. Oh, that's warm. Man, I wouldn't want to touch that. Right, so, yeah, that's pretty much it on this video. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you liked the video, click the like button, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see what other interesting tidbits I can drag out and demonstrate for you. So yeah, thanks for watching.